I didn't know that this was a Taylor Swift song. And if I did know, I probably would have been a Swiftie. Sing it! Sing, girl! Yeah! Girl, don't piss me off. Who is this? Who is she? Welcome to my channel. I'm Nisi. So recently, I unfortunately came to the very devastating conclusion that you guys hate me. You do. I'm sorry, because I just can't think of any other reason why you would want to destroy me like this. I put up a poll and I gave you guys the option of deciding what our next Taylor Swift album reaction would be. And out of the 7 albums of hers that we have not yet listened to, you guys said, forget these other 6. Red is the album that we need to listen to next. And from what I understand, it seems like Red is considered to be like the Taylor Swift breakup album, right? Right. And so you guys decided that now is the time that we need to listen to Red. When you know dang well that I just got out of a breakup literally a fortnight ago, right? Why would you do this to me? I am not at all prepared for what we're about to walk into. We are reacting to the Taylor's version of this album, but I've never even heard the original. I have literally never heard the Red album at all in any way, shape, or form. And so y'all clearly just want me to have an emotional breakdown. I'm just kidding. I know that you guys recommended this to me, most likely because you guys think that I'm going to find healing through this. And you know what? I hope that you're right. And I am very excited to continue on our Taylor Swift journey today. As I said before, we still have 6 other Taylor albums to get into even after this reaction today. So I'm very excited for that. And if you've never been here before and you end up liking me and liking this reaction video by the end of this, I really hope that you will consider hitting that subscribe button at some point during this video. And as always, if you guys want to watch this video in full, uncut, and follow along to lyrics with me, you can watch this video on my Patreon and the link is in the description. Let's get this over with. Alright guys, here we go. This is Red, Taylor's version. Now there are 30 tracks on here, and that's not happening. Okay? Because you guys know how we do things here, how we like break down songs and analyze them, and I like to read over the lyrics and like really think deeply in things, and we just cannot process 30 songs all at one time. So we're gonna break this up. There's gonna be a part 1 and a part 2. As of right now, we are going to go all the way down to Begin Again, because that is where the standard edition of this album stops. And then next week, we will get into part 2. Out of all 16 of these songs, I only have heard 2 of these. And one of them is I Knew You Were Trouble. I knew you were trouble when you walked in. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know that was Taylor's song. And then the other one is We Are Never Getting Back Together, obviously. I only know the choruses of them, so we still have to get into the whole song. Are you guys ready to watch me suffer in agony? I'm actually very excited for this. I'm just terrified more than anything because Taylor's pen, the things that she could bring out of you, I'm just a little terrified, but I'm ready. Here we go. The first song is called State of Grace, which sounds very peaceful. Can we please stay there? Can we stay in a peaceful state of grace, please? Oh! This is not what I expected. I was expecting a graceful, kind of mellow type of sound. Hey.
I'm walking fast through the traffic lights, busy streets and busy lives, and all we know.
Yeah. She sounds so good. Oh, I love that line. Oh! Hey. Oh! Taylor sing! Yo, she sounds so good here. She always sounds like good to me, but in particular here, like, I feel like usually in the reactions that we do, her voice is like very soothing, right? It's very soothing, very calm. Sometimes it's even like talky. Here it's like so strong. Like she's like belting, like she's like really pushing it. Like she's pushing it to another place. There's so much volume. And I love like the instrumental as well. Like the energy of her vocal and the energy of the instrumental. I really like the sound of this so far.
You come around in the armor falls.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that change up there. Yeah. Bring it back in. Yes. I cannot express how much I am like shook and like really enjoying the sound of this. I don't think that I've ever like heard Taylor like this. In what I've heard, obviously, we haven't even made it through half of her discography. But just like this euphoric type of nostalgic, energetic, just burst of whatever is happening inside of me. Like there's a certain type of like magic to this because it's just so energetic and euphoric feeling. And I just love this. And I just love how much she's really pushing her voice here.
Love is a ruthless game unless you play it good and right.
I really love that ending part right there. First of all, because I love the fact that when she says this is a state of grace, and this is not the first time that this has happened in the song, when she says this is a state of grace, everything like quiets down, right? Like everything quiets down, the beat gets very mellow, almost like the chaos comes to a stop because the song's like very energetic. There's a lot that's going on in the production. When she says this is a state of grace, everything just like stops and mellows down because it shows you like that peace. The song is about her talking about this relationship in which things are peaceful. Things are good right now, which is why I'm scared. Love is dangerous, but as of right now, we're playing it good and right. I love the way that it ends because she says, unless you play it good and right. Like she's saying, we are playing it good and right. That's what this whole song is giving. But it's unsettling because she's basically admitting that love is ruthless unless you are playing it in a certain type of way. But that's unsettling because if you stop playing it in that certain type of way, or if one person no longer wants to put in the effort, then love will then be ruthless. So it's like scary a bit the way that it ends on that line. And it makes you wonder, well, where is this going to go now? Are things going to continue being good and right? Or are you going to stop playing it good and right and then will love turn ruthless? I love how in the beginning, like the storytelling of it, as usual, she kind of like starts off painting the world as kind of like a harsh place, you know, like traffic lights and, you know, all we know is touch and go. We're alone with our changing minds, things like that. But then you come along and I never saw you coming. I never expected you. And now it kind of like turns on its head where like now she's saying, instead of saying all we know is touch and go, all we know is don't let go. Like how that literally, this person comes around and just changes her life, changes the perspective of her life. They pierce the room like a cannonball, which reminds me of the opening track of Evermore. The way that she paints this person always, she paints love as like coming towards her like a big rush of energy that she almost can't like control. She paints it as being so pure at this point. Up in your room, our slates are clean. Twin fire signs, 4 blue eyes, you know, kind of painting the picture of like innocence. Everything is good right now. Everything is great right now, which is why I'm scared. So yeah, I really like this song, you guys. And I love just how like the euphoric feel of it matches the euphoric feel of being in love and everything being in that good place. Are we gonna stay like this? Can we stay like this, please? I have a feeling that we won't. That's one of my favorite opening tracks I've ever heard from her. I just love the way that her voice is coming through. The production is strong, like just in a way that I've never heard of her before. So I'm very excited for this. The next song is called Red. This is the title track.
Loving him is like driving a new Maserati down a dead-end street.
What?
Faster than the wind, passionate as sin, ending so suddenly.
Taylor, I couldn't at least we couldn't make it to 5 tracks. We couldn't make it to track 5 before you had to pull this. Taylor, all I asked for was 5 tracks of peace.
Like
Wow.
the colors in autumn so bright, just before they lose it all.
Oh, this lyricism. Hey. Oh, so Scarlet, it was maroon. So Scarlet, it was maroon. Obviously, she's painting this as negative, right? We just went from a very a lot of happiness in the first track to now things are already going awry, because Loving Him's like driving a new Maserati, which is great, right? Like a nice new fancy car, but down a dead end street. We're not going anywhere, right? It comes to an end. I just love how she always ties her ideas and concepts to color. She does this all the time. Losing him was blue like I'd never known. Missing him was dark gray, all alone. Obviously tying like these sad colors to sad emotions. She does this a lot. She did this in, I believe it's Hoax, the song where she talks about like blue a lot, right? Forgetting him was like trying to know someone you never met. That is so insane. And you can take red in so many different ways, right? She said the word passionate at first. Red is like passion. Red is also love. You know, hearts are always like drawn in red. It's like love. But red can be so many other different things that are also very negative. Red flags, for example. You know, I just love the lyricism. I love the metaphors. Oh my God. We're not starting this. Burning red. See? Burning. Sing! Hey. Who's doing this production? I need to take my hair off of this. Hey. That gave me chills, y'all. Is Red about to be my favorite? Is Red about to be my favorite? I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. No, it's too soon to say. It's too soon to say. It could all go downhill from here. It really could. But I just love the freaking sound of this. This is just, it's just so like nostalgic feeling, and I don't know why. Probably because like this is like old actually, but like just made newer. And just like the production was just so full. Her voice is so full. And then the lyricism is just on point, as it always is. This just reminds me so much of Maroon for obvious reasons, obviously. But the way that Maroon like does that thing where it paints Maroon in a positive light and then paints it in a negative light, right? So like talking about the wine that you spilled all on my shirt, you know, tying it to like a good memory. And then the mark on my collarbone. It makes Maroon positive and affectionate, but then it turns into the rust that grew between telephones. Right now it's negative. And the way that she does the same thing here, where like red is passionate, it's love, it's all those things, but red is also, it can be red flags, it can be warnings, it can be anger, it can be the thing that she says here where she says burning red. Burning can be like positive in the sense of like burning for someone, but at the same time burning is also fire. It's also destruction. Ending the song on that Maserati line, bringing that back around, and I just think that that's so interesting because it was the very first line of the song, right? And then it's also the very last line of the song, and I think that that's kind of like interesting because it can kind of like symbolize like a pattern of some sort. This song is just so good. Like I had to take my hair down because like I just wanted to just like dance to this. You guys know there were many reasons why I did not enjoy Taylor Swift's music before I actually started reacting to her. There were a lot of reasons why I never really got into her music, and some of her later music I thought, just because I was out and about and just hearing it and not actually listening to the lyrics, it sounded like a bit boring to me. Obviously, when I actually started reacting to those, I developed so much of a deeper appreciation for those. But these are just so fun. Like these just make me want to dance. These are just like, they ignite so many feelings within me, to be honest. I am like really enjoying this so far, you guys. I'm very sad that we are already experiencing kind of like the downfall of this, like the state of grace, how we were so positive, and red, we are like already going down, but we shall carry on. You guys, the next song is called Treacherous. That I can't say what the exact definition of treacherous is, but it's not good.
Put your lips close to mine as long as they don't touch.
Well, girl,
Focus eye to eye.
Yes.
Quicksand.
Takes you down fast.
This slope is treacherous.
Hey.
This path is irregular. I like it.
I like how she adds this imagery to what this emotion is, saying like quicksand and slope. Like she's entertaining something that she shouldn't be entertaining. This slope is treacherous. Like she keeps on referring to things of like going down, like falling down or falling into something, right? Till gravity's too much, right? Like there's something that she's trying to resist here. And I just like how she's like tying that imagery to it.
All we are is skin and bone.
Oh.
Trying to get along. Forever going with the flow. But your friction, I like it. Two headlights shine through the speed limit. Then I will get you along. Your name has echoed through my mind, and I just think you should know. This daydream is dangerous.
Yes, girl.
This hope is treacherous.
This hope is treacherous.
This slope is treacherous. I like it.
Oh no, girl. No. It feels like she's speaking from the perspective of like being with this person and realizing that maybe she should actually leave, but something about this person, like she just can't. She said, I'd be smart to walk away, but you're quicksand. Like I want to walk away because this is a slope, as in something that is going to go down, and it's treacherous. The path is reckless, but I like it. She says like all we are is skin and bone. Like skin and bone. Doesn't that sound like there's just like nothing that's left of us? We're just trained to get along. We're not getting along because things are actually going well. Like what she said earlier, you know, like everything will go well if you are, you know, playing the game good and right. Things are not going good, and that's why we're getting along. We're just trained to get along, you know, and like forever just going with the flow. So it's like something is going on in this relationship that is not very good, and she is thinking that she should leave if she was being smart. She says this hope is treacherous, and something about that line is just so good. Like this hope, whatever this is inside of me that is like telling me to stay, that's like telling me that this can work, that's telling me that I should stick with this, is treacherous. And those two things are just so opposite of each other. The word hope and the word treacherous are just so opposite. This is not good. This is not good. It feels like coming after Red, she's just pointing out so many things that are going wrong, but yet still finding a way to speak positively, right? Like in Red, we talked about how there were bad sides of what she was saying and then also good sides of Red, right? And then Treacherous, you know, we're talking about how things are bad, but I like it, you know, and how there is hope. So it's like, it's just so interesting how she's doing that. Guys, the next song is I Knew You Were Trouble. This is a song where like I know the chorus of this and then that's about it. So I'm excited to see what the rest of the song is about.
Once upon a time, a few mistakes ago, I was in your sights. You got me alone. You found me. You found me. You found me.
Yes.
Realize the blame is on me. I knew you were trouble when you walked in.
Yes.
So shame on me now. Flew me to places I've never been.
I never knew that's what she said right there.
Lying on the cold hard ground.
Yes. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot that part of the song happens. I literally forgot that part existed where it's like, I think it sounds like a little bit different. Like from what I remember, I think that one, the original, was like a little bit stronger. You know, like I think that it's a little bit more there. but it still like sounds good and it reminded me of that. Oh my gosh, I forgot that part existed. That part is so good. I was in your sights, you got me along. That just took me back to the first song where she was talking about, and I saw you, you know, like the way that she painted that out. You found me, I guess you didn't care, and I liked that. And that took me back to the last song. She said, I guess you didn't care, and I liked that. And in the last song, she'll say like, this is treacherous, but I like it.
Drowning, you're drowning, you're drowning. I heard you moved on from whispers on the street. A new notch in your belt is all I'll ever be.
Ooh.
Now I see, now
I'm just another one.
I knew you were
Trouble when you walked in.
so shame on me now. I flew me to places I've never been. Now I'm lying on the cold hard ground.
I wish it was a little bigger right there.
Comes creeping in that you never loved me or her or anyone or anything.
Who is her?
I knew you were trouble when you walked in. Trouble, trouble, trouble.
As I said before, I didn't know that this was a Taylor Swift song. And if I did know, I probably would have been a Swiftie. I'm not even gonna lie to you. If I would have heard that song back whenever the heck this came out, I'd have been like, who is this? Who is she? What track are we on? Is this 4 or 5? Is this 4 or 5? I think this is 4. I'm gonna shut up. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. But this album is giving. Do you hear me? Do you understand? So this song is literally just like all about, I saw the red flags. I knew that you were no good, but yet I allowed this to happen. And yet I gave you these chances. And yet I allowed myself to fall into this. And now here we are. You know, the first track, you don't know that things are going to go wrong, right? The first track, State of Grace, everything sounds good. But once you get to Red, and once you get to the last song that we just listened to, it's like, okay, there are red flags that she's ignoring. She knows that there are negative things that are going on here, but she's still allowing these things to happen. And then we get here where she's like admitting, I just knew that you were trouble. And so shame on me now because I let this happen, right? And it's like, we love the accountability. We love the self-acknowledgement that you allowed this to happen to yourself. I do wish that the production was like stronger, because I think from like my memory that the production is stronger. It's just like a little less on here because like there are different producers that are working on this. So I do wish that it was like a little bit stronger, but it's still giving me what I need. I have heard this song before. Like I said, I've heard the chorus before, but I never knew that I liked it this much. I didn't know that I liked it. Maybe it's because it's in the context of the project. I don't know. Maybe it's because I actually had the lyrics in front of me. I don't know. But I didn't know that I liked this. And I like it. That's so good. Let's move on, you guys, to the next song, which is called All Too Well. This song I've heard of. I've never heard it, but I've heard of, because I know there's a 10-minute version of this, which is insane to me. So I'm wondering what the heck the song is about that you can give it 10 minutes and have it be interesting. A lot of different types of sounds. We got like rock, we got country.
I walked through the door with you. The air was cold, but something about it felt like home somehow. And I left my scarf there. Autumn leaves falling down like pieces into place. And
There's autumn again.
can picture it after all these days. And I know it's long gone and that magic's not here no more. 'Cause there we are again on that little town street. You almost ran the red 'cause you were looking over at me. We moved my hair, I was there. I remember it all too well. You tell me about your past, thinking your future was me. And I know it's long gone and there's nothing else I could do. There we are again in the middle of the night. I remember it all too well.
Oh, it sounds so good here. Okay, hold on, pause. Okay. All right. I see what this is. I see what this song is. This is a very much like a reminiscent type of song. A very reminiscent on the past of everything that happened. I like how the first verse, like low-key, kind of feels like she summarized the entire album up until this point. Like talking about how like everything starts off great. She says like autumn leaves falling down into place, which it was in the other song. Was it Treacherous? Or was it a different song? Where she talks about how loving him was like autumn leaves, you know, like how like the colors and then like how they fall. And then she says the magic is not there anymore. I might be okay and not fine at all. It feels like she kind of literally paints what's been happening this entire album of starting off well and then slowly moving to a place where the magic is gone now. Just like the reminiscing on the beautiful parts of it. And when she does that in the chorus, when she's like doing that reminiscent part, the production comes in and it's like lively and it feels almost positive. And then she says, I remember it all too well. And something about that line just kind of hits you like a punch because the production is giving you happy and you remember that it's not positive because it's not happening anymore. It's gone now. And that's what makes the song so sad.
Maybe we got lost in translation. Maybe I asked for too much, but maybe this thing was a masterpiece. Till you tore it all up. Hey, you call me up again just to break me like a promise. So casually cruel in the name of being honest. I'ma crumble them piece of paper lying here.
That passion?
But you keep my old scarf from that very first week. 'Cause it reminds you of innocence and it smells like me. 'Cause there we are again when I loved you so. Back before you lost the one real thing you've ever known.
Guys, guys, the way that this song embodies remembrance in so many ways. The way that this song, she just did, this was 5 minutes. I didn't even realize. Have you ever thought back on something that was like really emotional, right? Thought about something like this. And when you start thinking about it, you have these fond memories. And like for a moment, you can almost like smile because those were fond memories and beautiful experiences. But then there's a time when you sit there and you keep remembering that you remember certain things. And then like the passion builds up inside of you. And then anger can sometimes almost come out because you're like, why did this have to end? Why did this go wrong? And that is exactly that part where she starts getting like very passionate. And she says, maybe we got lost in translation. Maybe I asked for too much. Maybe this thing was a masterpiece until you tore it up. And like there was that part there that gets so angry because like you're remembering these memories and they're all so beautiful that you start being like, why the heck did it have to end? And that anger comes out. And then like she continues to reflect on it and there's so many things that she realizes and then like it dies back down and it becomes like more soothing again as that passes. And it's just so symbolic of what that process is like. It's so smart lyrically, it's so smart production wise, like all of it is just so smart. And even saying I remember it all too well, that's a common saying to say like I remember it all too well, but it's something about saying too well that almost sounds like you wish that you could forget it. Like I remember it a little too well. Like I almost wish that I didn't remember it as well as I do. And it's just, I felt that feeling just so encapsulated in this whole thing. There's just so many lines in here that are so smart. Like, it would take us literally so long to break it down. It literally kind of seems like one of those songs that every single time you listen to it, you're going to take away something new from it because something just hit in a way that it didn't the first time. Just reminiscing to then talking about how she felt like she was just a crumbled up piece of paper, and then talk about how she feels like she needs to find herself again and time won't fly. It's like I'm paralyzed by it because you know they say time heals, and she's like, I'm paralyzed by this. It's just, it's so much, you guys. It's so much. That song is so good, and I can absolutely see that becoming a 10-minute version because like that was 5 minutes and I low-key didn't even realize that we just sat here for 5 minutes listening to a song because it was just so good. That's just emotional, and I'm not gonna we're gonna keep it together. We're moving on. We are moving on. The next song is called 22.
It feels like a perfect night.
Oh.
Dress up like hipsters
Hey.
and make fun of our exes.
Yes, 22.
We're happy, free, confused, and lonely at the same time. It's miserable and magical, oh yeah.
Being young. Yeah.
It's time. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling
What the heck?
22. Everything will be alright if we just keep dancing like we're 22.
All right.
22. It seems like
Very different vibe from the last song.
we're happy, free, confused, and lonely in the best way.
That is
Miserable and magical, oh yeah.
that is the definition of being young. Hey.
Feels like one of those nights. You look like bad news. I gotta have you. I gotta have you. Ooh.
Girl, we just I knew you were trouble was like 2 tracks ago. Girl.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. Everything will be alright if you keep me next to you.
Girl, don't piss me off.
Bad news. I gotta have you. I gotta have you.
She just won't learn. She just won't learn. I think that the song works very well after the last song because, you know, the last song we were in a very emotional state thinking about, you know, heartbreak and things. And then she comes back in this song basically having fun, letting loose because we are trying to forget about the heartbreak that we have been experiencing. We're trying to forget about that. So we go out, we dress up like hipsters and make fun of our exes, and we go out and we dance and we have fun. I don't know if she was actually like 22 when she wrote this, or she's saying we're gonna dance like we're 22, which is what she says. So she could just literally be older at the time when she wrote this, but just say like, we're gonna pretend like we're 22 tonight because that is how much fun we are about to have. I'm not 22 yet, but when I am, I might play this on my 22nd birthday next year. Now, what is she talking about? You look like bad news, I gotta have you. Girl, this better have been before. This song better be before everything else that we just went through, or else you're insane and I have nothing for you anymore. If I was her friend, I would grab that girl by the dang collar and drag her out of that club or whatever the heck, wherever they're at. All right, guys, the next song is called I Almost Do. I really hope that you're talking about you almost made a move on this crazy guy that you said looks like bad news, but instead you didn't because you have common sense now.
I bet this time of night you're still up. I bet you're tired from a long, hard week.
I just want to say real quick, I like how the song is so slow because it's almost like we went from having a slow song in All Too Well, and then like we had a whole lot of fun and turned up in 22, and now we're sad again. Like almost like that 22 was just a distraction. Us going out and having fun was just a distraction from our heartbreak, but we really haven't healed, so now we're back to being sad.
And I bet sometimes you wonder about me.
Yeah.
And I just want to tell you,
Yes.
it takes everything in me not to call you. And I hope you know that every time I don't, I almost do. I almost do. I bet it never ever occurred to you that I can't say hello to you and risk another goodbye.
Yeah. I can't start it up again.
And I just want to tell you, I hope you know that every time I don't, I almost do. I almost do.
Sing it.
And I confess, baby, in my dreams you're touching my face and asking me if I'd wanna try again.
song is so, it's so literally the dictionary definition of I almost do. Oh my God. It's so, the feeling of that, she just captured that feeling so well. When you go through a breakup, you have to like try and fight so hard to not try to resume that relationship. It is so hard to walk away, and that is what she was talking about in past songs, you know, in songs like Treacherous, and talking about how, you know, like the path that we're going down and the slope, you know, like your quicksand. It's so easy to just like fall back into it, and you have to like resist that urge, and resisting that urge is just so hard. She really, really feels like she needs to tell this person, it takes everything in me not to call you, because she doesn't want this person to think that I just like forgot about you and that I just moved on, that I don't think about this. I want you to know that I do, but I can't talk to you. I can't speak to you. I can't go to your house. Like, I have to make that distance. And that's just such a freaking relatable feeling that I am currently feeling right now. The urge not to call. The urge to not just want to just run back into that person's arms is just like the hardest thing. And I almost do, the repeating of that. And I like how she says in this song so much, I bet. Like almost every sentence starts with, I bet, I bet. And it really shows how much she knows this person, how much she knows about their schedule and how they operate and about their behaviors. Like, I know this much about you, and it's so hard. It just makes it that much harder to leave someone that you know that much about. She's almost obsessing over what you're doing. Like, I bet this time of night you're still up, because I probably lay up in bed wondering if you're still up. It's just such a relatable feeling. It's such a sad, horrible feeling. It's horrible. All right, guys. The next song is called We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together, which is just very different from what we just listened to. This song being like, I almost do, like I'm tempted to want to get back together with you, but We Are Never Getting Back Together sounds very confident. So that's interesting. Ooh.
I remember when we broke up the first time, saying this is it, I've had enough. Cause like we hadn't seen each other in a month, when you said you needed space. What?
Oh, she's got attitude here.
I'm telling you, we are never, ever, ever getting back together. We are never, ever, ever getting back together.
Ah!
Like, ever. I'm really gonna miss you picking
Emphasize
fights,
that.
and me would hide away and find your peace of mind with some indie record that's much cooler than mine. Ooh, we are never, ever, ever, ever getting back together.
Hey.
I used to say never.
Yeah.
So he calls me up and he's like, I still love you. And I'm like, this is exhausting, you know? Like, we are never getting back together. Like, ever.
Love.
You go talk to your friends, talk to my friends, talk to me. But we are never, ever, ever, ever getting back together.
I've never listened to that song all the way through. This song too, I feel like I remember it being like a little bit bigger, like a little bit like fuller. Again, different producers, but I remember this being like a little bit fuller, but it was still like really fun to listen to. I love how she had so much attitude in this, going from like the last song of like being so like sad and somber to then going here and just being like firmly firm, like we are just never ever getting back together. It's so interesting. And there's like a certain feeling about this song where you're wondering, is this truly over? Like, because the way that she sang it, she literally said, we just broke up like last night. So this is like a very new, fresh emotion. You sitting here saying, we are never, ever getting back together. Like, do you actually mean that? Or is this just another one of the phases that you're going in? You know, she literally said, I'm really going to miss you picking fights. The fact that you say, I'm going to miss something very negative about you, sounds like how you sounded in Red and Treacherous, right? And so it sounds to me like you're still in this cycle. You're still in this pattern. So are we really over this? I don't know, but it's a cool song. It's a fun song. I would love like to play that, you know, when I get to the point in a breakup where I really am seriously over it. I feel like that would be like a really fun song to play, just to like celebrate the fact that you've moved on. We're gonna move on to the next song, which is called Stay, Stay, Stay. What is this? What is this? How do we go from I almost do, like I said, like the really resisting the desire to go back, to we are never getting back together, to stay. Girl, please. She's so bright. Sounds like it could be in the background of a commercial.
I'm pretty sure we almost broke up last night. I threw my phone across the room at you. Said, okay, let's talk. And I said, stay. I've been loving you for quite some time. You think that it's funny when I'm mad. But I think that it's best if we both stay.
This song sounds sarcastic. Does it not? Like, the way that this sounds, it sounds like very like purposefully positive sounding. Like, it sounds like she's just like burying things under the rug. I think we should both just stay. Let's just both, push all these feelings aside and act like they don't exist and just have fun. That's what this literally sounds like.
You carry my groceries and now I'm always laughing. And I love you because you have given me no choice but to stay. I've been loving you for quite some time.
Trying to figure out if I should take this seriously or not. Yes.
All those times that you didn't leave, it's been occurring to me. I'd like to hang out with you for my whole life.
That's sweet.
Stay. You think that it's funny when I'm mad. But I think that it's best if we both stay. It's so fun.
Does she say that in the original, or is that something that she just like did on like the re-recordings? Y'all let me know. This is probably like the song that like sonically I would listen to the least, because like sonically it's just like not my type of sound. This song is giving me the vibe that she's saying that I think that we should stay together, not because we're actually good together, but because we're just comfortable with each other and because we don't want to go anywhere else. Because she literally said, pretty sure we almost broke up last night. I threw my phone across the room at you. I was expecting some dramatic turn away, but you stayed. That is literally the definition of toxic. This is toxic. This is bad, right? So she keeps on saying, I think that we should stay. For what? For what exactly? The reason is because she says, I've been loving you for quite some time. And there is like studies that show that when we as humans put a lot of energy into something, we tend to be more loyal to it and not want to leave it because we poured so much energy and time into it. And our brain does not like to think that it wasted a lot of like time and resources on things without gaining something from it. And so it sounds to me like she's just saying, I've been with you for quite some time, so I think that we should stay, because we've been together for a long time. And that's not to say there aren't positive things about it, right? Because she says, like, I think like you're fun. I like to hang out with you. Like, you took time to memorize me. I like hanging out with you all this time. Like, there is positive things about it, but it's bad. Like, it's like treacherous, being like, yeah, we have all these terrible things, but I like it. It's like that same energy. Listen to this line right here where she says, no one else is going to love me when I'm mad. So I think it's best if we both stay. That so is so important there. No one else is going to love me when I'm mad, so we should stay in this, because no one else is going to accept the things that you have accepted. So I think that we should just stay together. Like, what? So that is exactly what the song is giving me. And so to me, it sounds like purposefully positive, because it's like, let's sweep our problems underneath the rug and act like our problems don't exist and act like we didn't just almost break up last night and just stay together because it's easy. Very interesting song, you guys. Very interesting song. The next song is called The Last Time, with our first featuring Gary Lightbody of Snow Patrol. I've never heard of this person in my life. That's dark.
Find myself at your door, just like all those times before. I'm not sure how I got there. All roads, they lead me here.
Ooh, I love that. Oh, I love that.
This is the last time I'm asking you that.
Ooh.
Put my name at the top of your list. This is the last time I'm asking you out. You break my heart in the
Ooh.
blink of an eye.
Yes.
And all the
Yes.
times I let you in just for you to go again, disappear when you come back. Everything is better and right.
Woo!
This is the last time I'm asking you this.
Put my name at the top of your list.
Can't forget. Ah! Ah!
This is the last time you tell me I've got it wrong.
Yes.
This is the last time I say it's been you all along.
This is the last time I let you in my door.
This is the last time I won't hurt you anymore. Oh,
You heard that.
last time I'm asking you out. You break my heart in the blink of an eye.
This is the last time I'm asking.
This is the last time I'm asking you. Last time I'm asking you this.
I love when she does her collabs, and she usually like this one reminds me of like Exile in the way that like letting the other person go first, and then she comes in, and then they're always like blending in like that. And I love when she does that, and I really like their voices together. And I just love the concept of the song. Last time I'm asking you this. The fact that it's just said over and over and over and over. It's almost like symbolic of how many times have you heard the last time, you know? Because like people will be like, you know, it's the last time I'm gonna do this, last time I'm gonna do that, I promise I won't do this again, and then they do it again, right? And so it's like, how many times have you actually heard this person say the last time? And so I love how the song closes repeating last time, last time, last time, last time, over and over and over again. It's just so symbolic of everything that's happened so far. The amount of times that she has said that, you know, she's had to fight the urge of like going back. The amount of times that she says that this person will call her on the phone and say, oh, I promise never again. She said that before. That the person had like called and said, oh, never again or whatever. And the fact saying like, we would never, ever, ever get back together. You know, it's just the showing this cycle that's just been going on over and over and over, and now getting to the point where it's like the person is saying, this is really like the last time. It's the last time I am asking you to put me at the top of your list. Prioritize me. It's the last time you find yourself at my door. And just like all the time before, you were your best apology. Like just the cycle of, this is the last time that I'm going to give you a chance, and this is the last time that you are going to ask me for one. I just love that. I just love that. This symbolicness of when the cycle is finally coming to a head, and hopefully this is actually the last time. Hopefully it is, because we have been on a roller coaster of back and forth and emotions. It's crazy. But yeah, I think that was like a beautiful song, beautiful meaning, beautiful voices. There were like parts where the production like revved up where I wish it would have been like a little bit bigger. I felt like it could have been like a little bit more. I felt like kind of muted on some points, but I just think that was a beautiful song. All right, guys, we're gonna move to the next song, which is called Holy Ground. That kind of reminds me of like State of Grace. I don't know why. Just like the holiness, grace aspect of it. I don't know.
Just the other day, while having coffee all alone, and Lord, it took me away. Back
Hey.
to a first glance feeling of
Lord.
New York time, back when you fit in my poems like a perfect rhyme.
Yeah,
It was good,
it was good.
never looking down, and right there where we stood was holy ground.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I said that this felt like State of Grace just because of like the titles. But really, when I think about State of Grace, when I think about that final line, you know, where she was saying everything, you know, like love can be like reckless or whatever it was. I don't remember exactly what it was, but like love can be bad basically if you don't play the game good and right. And like now her just talking about like how it was good, and her talking about how good it was in State of Grace, and then saying, you know, where we stood, it was holy ground, and it was good at the time, but now it's no longer. It just like reminds me so much of that song. It reminds me so much of what I was saying about how that last line of that song was kind of scary, because it's like it almost insinuates that love can easily turn bad. And I feel like that's kind of like this song kind of like goes back to that.
Let the noise sound up, I need you. And for the first time I had something to lose. And I guess we
Yeah.
fell apart in the usual way. But I don't wanna dance if I'm not dancing.
It's like 22.
Tonight I'm gonna dance like you were in this room. If I'm not dancing with you.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like another song about just like reminiscing on how good things used to be, and looking back on the memories of all that you've been through, and just, you know, feeling the emotions of that. And what's interesting here is like the lines like where she's saying, and darling, it was good, never looking down, and right there where we stood was holy ground. And it really makes you picture them being like almost like up in the clouds, you know, like almost up there, just where it's like peaceful, and never looking down at the potential danger below, you know, of like falling from high heights. And that makes me think about like the slope that she was talking about earlier, you know, falling down from like a high height. And earlier she was talking about, you know, gravity and things like that. She was talking about falling at first, and now she's painting it as in like we were like in the sky almost, never looking down at that. And like her saying like, tonight I want to dance, like I want to let loose and dance because I need to move on. And yet it's so sad, because anything that I try to do to help me to move on, I always wish that I was doing it with you. I just always want to be with you. And that just reminds me of like Almost Do. This album has just been like so back and forth. And I remember listening to We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together and feeling like almost in a way I remember asking, I was like, you know, is she like really serious about this? Because it felt like almost like a facade, like we're never getting back together. And like feeling so confident about it being over. But there was still so many lingering emotions. And we're just going through all the emotions that linger, all the things that you go through, the ups and downs of like, yeah, I'm done for good. And then, well, maybe I'm not. But then like I miss him. And then you're reminiscing. Like there's so many layers to a breakup, to the end of a relationship. And this is just so symbolic of that, I feel like. We're going to move on to the next song, which is called Sad, Beautiful, Tragic.
Handwritten notes deep in your pocket. Words, how little they mean when you're a little too late. We had a beautiful magic love there.
Oh, I love the way this sounds.
But a sad, beautiful, tragic love affair. And time is taking its sweet time erasing you.
Said time paralyzed me.
And you've got your demons, and darling, they all look like me.
The chills that just happened there.
Silence, the train runs off its tracks. Kiss
So she was
me,
staying by the
try to
track.
fix it. Could you just try to listen? Hang up, give up, and for the life of us, we can't get back.
Wow.
But a sad, beautiful, tragic love affair.
I loved how just like stripped down, delicate that song sounded. It had sort of like a magical type of feeling about it, which is interesting because she says we had a beautiful magic love there. There's just so much reminiscing that's like in this project, and the different places that reminiscing can lead you. It can lead you to healing, but it can also lead you to wanting to get back together with that person. It can lead you to feelings of anger, feelings of resentment. Just the way that she encapsulates these feelings is just a lot. I love this part here where she says, silence, the trains runs off its tracks. And earlier in the song, she's talking about being near tracks. Kiss me, try to fix it. That reminds me of like Treacherous, where she says like, get your lips close to me, but like, don't kiss me. Could you just try to listen? Hang up, give up. Like, hang up the phone or hang up this relationship. Give it up. And for the life of us, we can't get back. And it kind of sounds like, you know how someone says like, for the life of me? It kind of sounds like, for the life of us, we can't get back to where we were. But it also sounds like, for the life of us, that we can't get back. I don't know if that made any sense, but just like she kind of played with the grammar there, and I really liked that. It's just, I love the words that she's using. Sad, beautiful, tragic, treacherous. I like how she takes these two negative words, sad and tragic, but puts beautiful in the middle of it, because that's what this entire album has been about. Throughout all the negativity, she always finds something beautiful to say, something beautiful to feel. The sad, emotional songs, man. Y'all, we're moving on. The next song is called The Lucky One. Let's do this. Who was lucky? Who's lucky in this situation? Tell me. Interesting.
Go to town with a made-up name in the angel city, chasing fortune and fame. And the camera flashes make it look like a dream.
Oh, I like the way she said that.
And they'll tell you now you're the lucky one. Yeah, they'll tell you now you're the lucky one. But can you tell me now you're the lucky one? Oh.
Interesting.
And your secrets end up splashed on the news front page.
Yes. Yes.
And they tell you that you're lucky, but you're so confused. 'Cause you don't feel pretty, you just feel used.
This is giving me very Tortured Poets Department. Even though we have a sad breakup album, we'll always have a song somewhere that deviates away from that. This is giving me very Clara Bow. Very Clara Bow.
And they still tell the legend of how you disappeared, how you took the money and your dignity and got the hell out.
Huh?
They say you bought a bunch of land somewhere.
Oh, this reminds me of how we just reacted to the Folklore Lone Pond studio sessions, and Jack was saying how Taylor has been writing forever about getting out and about wanting to get out, and she talks about how like always like there's this place that she kind of like escapes to. That reminds me of that so much.
'Cause now my name is up in lights, but I think you got it right. Let me tell you now you're the lucky one.
Ah.
Let me tell you now you're the lucky one.
Oh, this really is so Clara Bow coded. The way that like the perspective changes and everything. Okay, so she says like, you know, she's speaking to this other person. Have no idea who she's speaking to, but she's speaking to this other person, and she's like, you know, people say that you're so lucky because you're a person who has fame, right? You have fame, you made it, your name is up in lights. Everyone thinks that you are so lucky. And she's like, this person is kind of confused. Like, who's lucky? Who's lucky? Because the circumstances in which I live under, like, yes, sure, my name might be up in lights, sure, I have fame, but there are things in my personal life that are going on that aren't perfect either. She said, like, your lover is in the foyer, doesn't even know you. Your secrets end up splashed on the news front page. What exactly is lucky? You don't feel pretty, you just feel used. And it could be in so many different ways. Could mean like used by the industry, used by lovers, could be so many different ways. You just feel used. And like, all the young things are lined up to take your place. That reminded me so much of Clarabelle, that entire concept, right? And then she says, now a few years later, you escaped. You took all of your stuff. You got away. You went to go like find freedom somewhere, right? And they still tell the legend of how you just disappeared. And it took some time, but I understand now because my name is up in lights now. Now I'm the one who's famous, and I think that you got it right. And now I think that you're the lucky one. And I think that you're the lucky one, not because, you know, you were famous. I think that you're lucky because you got away from that. You ran away somewhere where you were truly free. The concept of the song is giving very much of like how we always idolize someone else's life. We always think that the grass is greener where someone else is, and about how the public keeps on telling you like you're so lucky because you have all this fame and stuff, but y'all had no idea what she went through, right? And now she's run away, and now Taylor's like, well, now like you're the lucky one because you got away. You don't know what she's dealing with over there, wherever it is that she ran to. You know, we always assume that someone else is luckier than us and is doing better than us. And we never really know until we're actually in their shoes. And so I think that the song is so interesting. I love how it gives so much like Clarabelle. It like deviates from the love story for like a second and gives you some brand new story. The next song's called Everything Has Changed, featuring Ed Sheeran. I had no idea she had a song with Ed Sheeran. What? When did this happen? Well, I don't really know that much about Ed Sheeran's discography either, other than like his wedding song. So I don't really know that much about him either. So I can't say nothing.
All I knew this morning when I woke is I know something now I didn't before. I just wanna know, you better know.
Ooh.
You better know, you better now. I just wanna know, you better know, you better know, you better
There's
know.
some swag to this.
All I know is we said hello, and your eyes are looking like coming home. All I know is a simple name. Everything has changed. All I know is we held the door.
I like the melody of that. Hey.
No, my walls stood tall, painted blue. But I'll
Come on,
take 'em
Ed.
down, take 'em down, and open up the door for you. Oh, I know since yesterday, yeah, it's everything has changed.
That's a little crazy.
Come back and tell me why I'm feeling like I've missed you all this time. Hold the door. You'll be mine and I'll be yours. Oh, I know since yesterday, yeah, it's everything has changed. All I know is a newfound grace. All my days I'll know your face. All I know since yesterday, yeah, is everything has changed.
Well, well, well. I'm sorry. Am I understanding this right? Is she saying I met someone yesterday and I'm gonna know them for the rest of my life? It just sounds really funny because the entire time we've been singing about how we've been heartbroken about someone else, and then she met someone and she's like, ever since 18 hours ago, everything has changed. None of that stuff matters anymore, except for this person that I've known existed for 18 hours because they said hi to me and they held the door. This is not funny. This is a beautiful concept of love at first sight. I've never experienced it, but I've heard that it's something. All I've seen since 18 hours ago is the green eyes, the freckles of your smile in the back of my mind, making me feel like I just want to know you better, right? So like meeting someone, they catch your eye and they're just so interesting for whatever reason. You're just like, I need to know you better. And like everything has changed, as in like everything that we've been through up to this point. Like her emotions have changed. Her perspective has changed. There's now hope, you know? Before it kind of felt like we were just like in this sadness of just like this back and forth with this other person. And now like everything has changed because hope has just now walked through the door. And an actual real hope, not the hope that we were talking about before in Treacherous, an actual real hope. And I love that line where she says this is like a newfound grace, because again, it's like going back to state of grace. It's like I found a new version of what that was. There's now a new feeling of grace that has now entered my life. Dust off your highest hopes. All I know is pouring rain and everything has changed. Like, all I know is pouring rain. All I've known up to this point is heartbreak and devastation. But I'm still dusting off my highest hopes and hoping that this actually could be something. Ever since yesterday, everything is... It's the reason why I'm having this reaction is just because, like, typically when you go through a breakup, you should be more cautious when you step into the next thing. But the fact that she's like, I saw this man's face one time 18 hours ago, and I just know that this is the new thing. And I'm just like, oh, Lord. Girl, please. All right, guys, so let's go to the next song and see where we go from here. Are we going to, like, continue with the story, or we're going to fall back into that dark place? I don't know. Let's move on to the next song, which is called Starlight.
I said, oh my, what a marvelous tune. It was the best night, never would forget how we moved. The whole place was dressed to the nines, and we were dancing, dancing, like we're made of starlight.
This sounds positive.
Can't remember what song it was playing when we walked in.
Hey.
The night we snuck into a yacht club party, pretending to be a duchess and a prince. And I said, oh my, what a marvelous tune. And we were dancing, dancing, like we're made of starlight, starlight, like we're made of starlight, starlight.
Hey.
You spend your whole life singing the blues if you keep thinking that way.
Well.
Don't you dream impossible things.
Aww.
Like, oh my,
Trying to change her perspective on life.
it was the best night, never would forget how we moved. Ooh, ooh, he's talking crazy. Ooh, ooh, dancing with me. Ooh, ooh, we could get married, have 10 kids, and teach them how to dream.
Girl.
Don't you see the starlight, starlight? Don't you dream impossible things?
This song is so positive. Like, it feels so, like, optimistic. Feels like finding new love, you know, like we're made of starlight. And think about, like, the other song. I don't remember which song it was, but the song where she kept saying, like, I want to dance, but I can't dance without you. So I'm going to dance as if you're here in this room with me, you know? And now she's dancing with someone else like we're made of starlight. Like we dream impossible dreams. So almost like we're reaching for the stars, right? Like we're dreaming of things and we're hoping for things for ourselves that are so big that they almost feel impossible. So she said, I met Bobby on the boardwalk summer of 45. So I don't know if this is like another instance of like Taylor telling someone else's story. I feel like it might be like her telling some other type of story, or she might be like relating this to like some sort of old novel or movie. I don't know, you guys. You guys tell me, who is Bobby on the boardwalk in the summer of 45? I think she might be telling like someone else's story again, but I feel like she's kind of doing it in the way of like relating it to herself. We're kind of like at the point in the album where we're feeling a lot more optimistic, more positive. So she might be experiencing new love, like what she was just singing about in the last song. And so she's taking this other story, someone else's story, and relating it to her current circumstance of finding new love. Or it could just be something that she's hoping to have for herself, because she ends the song on the line, don't you dream impossible things. So could she possibly be telling someone else's story and saying, I really want that for myself, and that dream feels impossible for me? I don't know. Those are all of the kind of like ideas that I have going on in my head. I'm not really sure which of them it is. I love like the optimistic type of sound of this, the like dancing. I love how she's talking about dancing when she had that other song when she's saying like, I just wish that I could like dance with you, but I can't dance when you're not you know, you're not here with me. So guys, we're here to the last song, which is called Begin Again, which again, it has like that optimistic type of sound to it. So let's see what we get from this.
Took a deep breath in the mirror. He didn't like it when I wore high heels, but I do.
Who cares what he thinks? We like it.
He always said he didn't get this song, but I do.
Bye. You'd rather listen to that other indie song.
You pull my chair out and help me in, and you don't know how nice that is, but I do.
Oh, I love that. Oh, we're gonna get back to that.
And you throw your head back laughing like a little kid. I think it's strange that you think I'm funny, 'cause he never did.
Yes.
On a Wednesday in a cafe, I watched it begin again.
Guys, hold on. There's so many lines that like she's calling back to, and I don't want to forget it. So hold on, we gotta like go through this for a second. So obviously in the beginning, she's kind of talking about being with a person who doesn't really get her. They don't like her high heels. They don't get the songs that she's listening to. But she's like, I do, right? Like trying to reconnect with herself. Like these are things that I like, and you don't completely get it. You don't understand me, right? And then she walks in expecting this other person to be late, because that's the mindset that she always has. That love is always bad for me. So I just expected this person is gonna be late, but they're actually early, right? And they pull out the chair for her, and she said, you don't know how nice that is. Because like good guys, they just do things like that naturally, like bringing you flowers, pulling out your chair. They just do those things naturally. And when you've been in so many relationships where you've never had that, the other person, they don't even realize like how much that means to you, because I've never had this. To them, it just feels natural, but you're like, I've never had this before. And it's so strange because like he never thought that I was funny. And if we're talking about that guy from earlier, he only thought that you were funny when you're mad. And so you didn't even want to like move on and find someone else, because you didn't think that anyone else was going to be able to give you that energy. And here he is. He actually thinks that you're actually funny without having to give you a negative emotion to bring that out of you. Crazy.
You said you never met one girl who had as many James Taylor records as you, but I do.
They bond on the music.
I've been spending the last 8 months thinking all love ever does is break and burn and end.
That's another line too.
Wednesday in a cafe, I watched it begin again.
I love this.
And I wanna talk about that, and for the first time, what's past is past.
And that time really was the last time, huh?
'Cause you throw your head back laughing like a little kid. On a Wednesday in a cafe, I watched it begin again.
I love the little cuteness, like the little specificity of like on a Wednesday in a cafe. Did you have to say that? Like, no, but I just love like the little specificity of that. Another line that I really love is she says, thinking all love ever does is break and burn and end. And that was how State of Grace started in like the first verse. She said something along the lines of, I don't remember these specific words. You know what? Actually, I'm going to find it. She said, we fall in love till it hurts or bleeds or fades in time. Hurts or bleeds or fades in time. And then we go back down to begin again, where she says, all love ever does is break and burn and end. Those three things. And I just love like the way that that circles back to each other, right? The State of Grace, having that song, and the way that it starts off so positive, and then we also end positive. And in that first positive song, State of Grace, you know, she talks about how she has these preconceived notions about love. I expect for love to be these three bad things, but I found the State of Grace. And then we go to this song, Begin Again, where this is also a very positive song. And she said, I have the preconceived notion that love is these three bad things, but I was able to find positivity and begin again. They are literally like along those two same lines. And so I love how like it starts and ends with that, because it's like a cycle. And it really is like the cycle of love. Like we go through so much pain and heartbreak, and we think that we're just never going to find it again. Things are never going to be good again. And then we always get back to another State of Grace. We always circle back. It always happens again. It always begins again. And so I just love like the cycle of how that happened, how after everything that we just went through, all that heartbreak, all that back and forth, that was a lot. And we ended with that. We ended with that positivity. I love that. Guys, that is our part 1 of Red Taylor's version, listening all the way from State of Grace to Begin Again. Guys, I was waiting until the end to say this, and we still really haven't gotten to the end because we still have a part 2. But the urge that I have to say that this is my favorite or one of my favorites is very strong. I think to this point, Folklore has probably been like my favorite Taylor reaction. Well, Torture Poets is like so, it's like so close right there. I don't know. But Red, to me, is just like something so special. It was nothing like what I was expecting. Red, to me, has done something for me that I feel like I haven't gotten from the other Taylor albums, which is this. Taylor's pen is always on point. The pen is never the issue. It's never the problem. The one thing that I have sometimes wanted from Taylor's music is for the production to just be like a little meatier. I feel like lots of times when I'm listening to her songs, like I just want the production to be like a little bit more full, for like a little bit more to be going on. And this, I feel like, gave that to me. This, I felt that it was a bit more like full, even if it's probably like toned down from the original. I still felt like this was like so much more full, and like it really just like made me like want to move and everything like that. And it's that in combination with the pen, the way that it's always been, it was just like the perfect, I was just like living. It was perfect, the perfect harmony of that. I think I did really well with my emotions. Not a tear shed. This was so good. Probably because like I was like experiencing this outside of myself. But like I just know, yeah, when I play this in my own time, it's going down. But that's not for y'all to see. That's not for you to see. These were just so good, like lyrically. I love the storytelling of this, the order that it went in. I just love the production. Love how it just made me want to have so much fun and dance around and things. I'm gonna give you guys my favorite tracks. My favorite songs are State of Grace, Red, I Knew You Were Trouble, All Too Well, I Almost Do, The Last Time, The Lucky One, Everything Has Changed, and Begin Again. Those 9 are my top tracks. None of these songs to me were bad. I think that Stay was probably like the one that I enjoyed like the least on a sonical level, but I understand why it is the way that it is on a sonical level. And guys, I'm very excited to get into part 2 of this, which we are going to be getting into next week. So stay tuned, you guys, because we still have tracks 17 to 30. Okay, you guys, so we still have a lot left to go. So make sure that you guys stick around. And the easiest way that you can do that actually is to hit that subscribe button, because then YouTube will automatically notify you when I upload the second part of this video, and you guys can be here for that. And I am very excited because this has to be one of my favorite Taylor albums, and I usually don't like to say that right after I listen to something, but it just is. I'm sorry. It just is. So yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for experiencing this with me, and I will see you guys later. Love you guys. Bye.